Hip hop to the core, boom baptized.
Peace. What's good? You know the channel, Boom Baptism, episode 7. So anyway, I'm back again. And because this is episode 7, you know, I gotta talk about this topic. You know, a lost 5%, nation of gods and earths, also known as the 5%ers, and their influence in hip hop. All right. So I'm gonna talk about 3 groups in hip hop that really influenced me to become a part of the nation of gods and earths, otherwise known as the lost 5%. So let's start with the first group. You have poor righteous teachers who consisted of Wise Intelligence, Culture Freedom, and Father Shaheed, all hailing from Trenton, New Jersey, from Donnelly Holmes Projects, as they affectionately called Divine Land. Now, one thing about those brothers, they came across as the 5%ers who were, you know, they wearing the kufis with the tassel, real serious 5%ers, knew their lessons backwards and forwards, didn't drink. They came off like they didn't drink, they didn't smoke. And if you were around them and you claimed to be 5%, you had to know your lessons or they would verbally destroy you and bomb you. Came off just very, very righteous. And to like the average fan, you know, we love the music, rocking to the beats and all and everything like that. But if you weren't 5%, some of the lyrics may go over your head because they were super scientific. Wise Intelligence was super scientific, but you enjoyed the flow. You enjoyed him chatting, the beats, Father Shaheed put the beats together, Tony D, you know, with the beats together, the early producer they were using back when they first came out, when they did Holy Intellect. I mean, and it was amazing. It was amazing. They were really, really, really funky. I mean, Rock This Funky Joint was like one of the first joints we've heard from them or whatever, and it was just really, really dope. But like I said before, if you weren't 5%, which I wasn't at the time, you know, some of the lyrics can go over your head, but you just know you enjoyed the music and the flow. Okay. Then on the other spectrum, we talk about the Wu-Tang Clan, you know, hailing out of Shaolin, otherwise known as Staten Island. Now these brothers, you could tell they were, you know, more street 5%ers, street guards. You know, the guards that's in the street. Some of these guards might have just came home from jail or got knowledge yourself in jail. Not saying everybody or all of them, but they more appealed to me to the street brothers. Not saying that PRT wasn't street, because they, you know, they, like I said, they were from Donnelly Holmes Projects or whatever. But the Wu-Tang Clan, you know, these are the guys you might see them still drinking a little 40, you know, puffing equality or whatever, and things like that. Knew their lessons, knew 120, but if you came around them and didn't know their lessons, you got them hands. You got a universal beat down. You know what I mean? That's how they came across. And of course, they got really huge. A little, you know, got a little bit more recognition than Poor Righteous Teachers or PRT or whatever, you know. But they came across more like for the street brothers, you know, whereas PRT was more super scientifical, very serious, Kufi rocking, tassel rocking brothers. And that just shows the diversity within my nation of gods and earths or whatever. That everybody has a pretty much a place within the nation, you know, no matter what background you come from or whatever. So with them, like I said, they were really street, you know, and they had a lot of appeal, you know, and things like that. And they were really, really just hardcore. You could tell these were brothers from, you know, out of the slums of Shaolin. A lot of these dudes are street dudes, you know, on you know, on the corner type of dudes, and they had knowledge self or whatever, you know. And then you have the bridge, to me, the group that really influenced me the most, the bridge between those two, Brand Nubian, consisting of Grand Puba, Sadat X, and Lord Jamar, as well as DJ Alamo. Now, one thing with Brand Nubian, they were the bridge between the two, in my eyes. Like I said, this is all my opinion, my understanding or whatever. With that group, they were scientific. They had that PRT in them. but they also had that Wu-Tang street in them, but they were also just very, very fly. And that's not taken away from the other two groups, because like I said, you know, they were kind of fashionable as well. But Brand Nubian, you know, they had them wisdoms. Brand Nubian, or excuse me, these women, for those who are not familiar with the term wisdom. They had the women after them, you know, they were fly with it, they were cool with it, you know. Grand Puba brought a lot of fashion to the game today that I don't think he really gets credit for, you know, bringing Hilfiger to the forefront and polo and things like that. And they were just really, really cool with it, and they influenced me because, you know, I wasn't in the streets, and I also wasn't super scientifical. But when I saw Brand Nubian, it was like, oh, these brothers, you know, they really cool with it. You know what I'm saying? They got knowledge of self. You know, they got some streets on them, but they also fly with it, fashionable. You know, these are the brothers that you will see at the club, and, you know, got the ladies on them, they looking fly, but they got knowledge of self. And that's what I loved about Brand Nubian. You know, so they influenced me the most out of the two groups because they feel like they were the bridge. Now let's look at Brand Nubian, even the actual group itself, the three MCs. Because on one spectrum, you have Grand Puba, the real fly dude, you know, for the ladies. Still had knowledge of stuff, still was spitting, you know, sprinkling the jewels in between. But then you had Lord Jamar, who was hardcore righteous. You always heard 5%, a lot of 5% references in his verses. But then you have that median in between, which was Sadat X. Sadat X was a mixture of them both. He can get on that party flyness. He can also get on that righteous tip as well. And I think that's why, in my opinion, he's really one of the, I would say he's the most popular member of Brand Nubian even today, and maybe even the most relevant right now, because he's put out a whole body of work. And I don't know Sadat X, but just seeing and watching him over the years, he seems like he's a really laid back, down to earth, cool dude. I used to call him the Little Wayne of features, because you can put together a whole feature tape of Sadat X. He's done a lot of features over the years. But Brand Nubian was the bridge between PRT and Wu-Tang. But all three groups had an influence on me in some shape or fashion, but it was the Brand Nubian because they were the bridge, and they provided that balance for those that weren't street and for those that weren't super scientifical, you know, Kufi rocking with the tassel type of 5%er, you know. So I just wanted to touch on that real quick. And you know, today, like I said, it's episode 7, so I had to speak on the gods and earths. You know, on that note, I'm gonna say peace.
Hip hop to the core, boom baptized.